Hey Deadites, and welcome back to the channel. So today I thought we would break down a recent topic that's kind of been splitting the Evil Dead fanbase right down the middle, and it comes straight from Bruce Campbell. In recent coverage featured on both Bloody Disgusting and Dead Central, Bruce weighed in on where he'd like to see the future of the Evil Dead films go. Addressing the recent tone of the series, Bruce stated, "I'd like more humour back in. The three features have been mostly humourless, and I personally have a problem with that. There's no point for these to get too grim. You can be scary without being grim." He went on to add, "A little more humour wouldn't kill you, and one hero that you really can root for. Ash is an idiot, but you want him to survive." Now, of course, anytime Bruce speaks on the Evil Dead franchise, fans will listen, but this statement has sparked a massive debate about where the identity of Evil Dead actually is in 2026, and where it needs to go next. To understand Bruce's point and my response to it, we have to look at how we got here. Back in 1981, Sam Raimi set out to make a dead serious, low-budget, shocking horror movie. If The Evil Dead gets a chuckle out of anyone today, it's usually just due to the raw indie budget constraints, melodrama, and practical limitations of the time. It wasn't meant to be a comedy, it was meant to terrify you. After all, it's the ultimate experience in grueling terror. Then came Evil Dead 2, which stumbled into cinematic magic by striking the ultimate 50-50 balance between dark, slapstick humour and grueling splatter horror. Army of Darkness took that comedic thread and ran straight into full-blown action-adventure territory. I love Army of Darkness, it's actually my second favourite film in the entire franchise, and it works precisely because it's centred on Bruce Campbell's iconic screen presence. When Fede Alvarez stepped up with Evil Dead 2013, the franchise hit the reset button on the laughs. It stripped away the slapstick and brought pure, unadulterated brutality back to the forefront. To this day, I still think Evil Dead 2013 remains the most ruthless entry in the franchise, and it's brilliant for it. When it came to Evil Dead Rise, that film kept the hardcore horror backbone while sprinkling in just a dash of dark levity like the infamous eyeball scene, which served as a perfect, subtle homage to Evil Dead 2, among many others. And with Evil Dead Burn, the humour is used with surgical precision, mostly delivered through Polly's creepy, sinister, yet bizarrely funny dialogue. In my opinion, the modern films aren't completely devoid of dark irony, but they prioritise high-stakes horror. When looking back at the community post that I posted, the vast majority of you aligned on one clear message: horror should stay pure horror, and the heavy comedy needs to take a back seat. That said, a few of you did mention that you missed the levity and would like to see those classic comedic beats return to the screen. A big thank you to everyone who left a comment. Which brings us right back to Bruce's comments, and look, I know saying this might get my comment section set on fire, but hear me out. I may actually have to disagree with Bruce Campbell, and I actually can't believe I'm saying this.
Yep. Right up the pooper.
I think the heavy slapstick humour should be reserved exclusively for stories featuring Bruce Campbell as Ash Williams. The original Evil Dead trilogy is iconic, and Ash vs Evil Dead gave us 3 incredible seasons of prime horror comedy gold. But the magic of that specific tone rests almost entirely on Bruce's unique comedic timing and characteristic presence. Trying to force heavy slapstick onto a new cast risks undercutting what makes these new films so effective. It all comes down to this. Think about what makes these modern Evil Dead movies work so well. At its core, Evil Dead is about putting completely normal people into terrifying, ungodly situations and watching them push past their absolute limits just to survive. When you strip away the jokes, the violence hits harder, the Deadites are genuinely terrifying, and the survival struggle feels desperate and real. That unapologetic, brutal intensity is what sets Evil Dead apart in today's horror landscape. I know a lot of fans agree with Bruce and miss the Army of Darkness or Ash vs Evil Dead vibes, and I completely respect that. But for this new era, I hope the filmmakers stick to their guns and keep delivering pure, unapologetic horror. But the big question is, where do you stand? Do you want to see the future movies bring back the comedy, or stick with the dark, brutal horror? Let's get a friendly discussion going in the comments. I'd love to hear your thoughts, keep it respectful, and let's talk Evil Dead. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe for more Evil Dead content, and as always, stay groovy.